Phenom Javier Baez coming through with the go-ahead single to put the Cubbies on top. And then this is why they got to roll this Chapman from the Yankees. 102 miles per hour past Brandon Belt to end it. He saved all 3 wins in this series, and that's a big exhale for the Cubs and their fans. Let the celebration begin. They're moving on to the NLCS for the 2nd consecutive year. Baez, the first Cubs player.
We don't quit. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, you hear that all the time, and I know everybody says it, but you have to actually live it. And I have to tell you, I mean, I've seen it so many times from this group, and that's a big part of our philosophy. And I like to keep things simple, and that's simple. And I don't want to get complicated. We've just played 27 outs.
Baez is the first Cubs player with a go-ahead RBI in the 9th inning since 1908, their last World Series victory, of course. 108 years.
Didn't somebody bring a billy goat to the game?
They don't want to talk about that in Chicago.
No.
They're trying to wipe out that curse this year. I think they will.
They might. Yep. All right.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
Coming up next on NBC Nightly News, Donald Trump suggesting that Speaker Paul Ryan and others in the GOP who have backed away from him are part of a sinister deal to keep him out of the White House.
Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you back here at 11 o'clock. Have a great night.
Tonight, U.S. ship attacked. Another missile fired at a U.S. Navy destroyer. The second attack in just a week. Officials now pointing to Iranian-backed rebels. Sinister deal. Donald Trump suggests a secret plot inside the GOP to keep him out of the White House. And WikiLeaks unleashes more potential damage of hurt. Campaign of teaming up with Russia. Intentional crash. Investigators now say a small plane was brought down on purpose. What happened on board in the tense final moments? Now hiring. Why the two now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening. The U.S. is promising to respond after an American naval destroyer came under a missile attack tonight near Yemen, the second time in less than a week. Pentagon officials say the missiles were launched from territory controlled by Iranian-backed rebels. The ship was not hit and there were no American casualties, but the attacks have raised the stakes in the already dangerous region and threatened to draw the U.S. into Yemen's civil war. NBC's Hans Nichols has late details.
It's the second time in just 4 days missiles have been fired at the American destroyer, the USS Mason. The suspects behind the brazen attacks? Militias backed by Iran. The latest incident began around sundown tonight. At least one missile was fired from an area in Yemen controlled by Iranian-backed rebels, the Houthis. In rapid response, the Mason deployed its own missiles as defensive countermeasures. U.S. officials did not confirm if they scored direct hits, but no missiles reached the Mason. The USS San Antonio, an amphibious ship, was also in the vicinity. The Mason was also fired upon over the weekend. No Americans were hurt in either attack. One possible motive for the targeting of American ships? U.S. support for Saudi Arabia, which has been bombing the Iranian-backed rebels since last year. 140 people were killed after this airstrike on a funeral on Sunday. Hours later, the USS Mason was attacked. The incidents against the American ships, now a topic at a national security meeting at the White House.
The trigger is going to be when the next missile is fired, and that may very well be tomorrow.
Tonight, the urgent question: how will the U.S. respond to an attack that was potentially directed by Iran? Hans Nichols, NBC News, the Pentagon.
Now to the political civil war intensifying tonight inside the GOP as Donald Trump suggests a, quote, sinister deal inside the party to undermine him. And now WikiLeaks has released more purported emails from Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, and he's pointing the finger at Russia and the Trump campaign. Let's begin with NBC's Katie Tur. Katie.
Hey there, Lester. Instead of trying to expand his base, Donald Trump was in Florida trading substance for insults and capitalizing on his supporters' unsubstantiated fears that the election is rigged. Nothing left to lose, Donald Trump is going rogue, and his supporters are in for the fight.
If he doesn't win, I believe it will be because of all of the deceitful, cheating.
Trump rallies always fraught, now swallowed by fear, anger, and misinformation. Trump is reveling in it, driving a GOP civil war accusing Paul Ryan of disloyalty.
There's a whole deal going on. We're going to figure it out. I always figure things out. But there's a whole sinister deal going on.
Last night, trashing Ryan and John McCain.
I wouldn't want to be in a foxhole with a lot of these people. That I can tell you.
But McCain's a brave man.
Including Ryan.
He's a brave man, McCain.
By the way, including Ryan, especially
I got
Ryan.
that.
Trump is hoping enthusiasm from his base will carry him over the finish line. But that strategy is exposing weaknesses, namely in Utah, a deep red state where Trump and Hillary Clinton are now tied at 26%. And third-party candidate Evan McMullin is in striking distance.
He's speaking to his base. He really only has one strategy left, and it's a scorched earth strategy against Hillary Clinton.
Rudy Giuliani, often leading the charge in Clinton conspiracy theories, today accused her of lying about where she was on 9/11.
But I heard her say one day she was there that day. I was there that day. I don't remember seeing Hillary Clinton there.
But Clinton never claimed to be in New York. Then a U.S. Senator, Clinton was in Washington on September 11th. On September 12th, she stood in the rubble of Ground Zero, right beside Rudy Giuliani. Katie Tur, NBC News, Lakeland, Florida.
I'm Hallie Jackson. Today, WikiLeaks releasing 1,700 new stolen emails, part of a hack seized on by Republicans. Especially one email where Jennifer Palmieri, a top Clinton aide, writes of Catholic conservatives, their rich friends wouldn't understand if they became evangelicals.
They attack Catholics and evangelicals viciously. And that won't be tolerated, but it won't be tolerated by the voters.
The email hasn't been authenticated by NBC News. Palmieri responding.
I'm a Catholic. I don't recognize that email that we saw. And this whole effort is led by the Russians.
The U.S. government has said Russia is behind prior hacks. Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta blames Russia, too, for hacking his email, floating ties to Donald Trump's campaign. Podesta pointing to notorious GOP operative Roger Stone.
Mr. Stone had advance warning in the Trump campaign and warning was not going to do.
Stone tells
with WikiLeaks, but they certainly don't clear or tell me in advance what they're going to do.
Despite his tweets seeming to preview a damaging document dump, Stone tells us he never knew specifics, has never met WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, and while he used to be a Trump confidant, says he didn't tell the campaign anything.
I am trying to help in the election of the entire Republican ticket independently, and therefore I don't coordinate my activities with them in any way.
Hallie Jackson, NBC News, Panama City.
With early voting already underway in a number of battleground states, NBC News has crunched the numbers. And as NBC's Kristen Welker explains, Hillary Clinton appears to have an early edge.
Tonight, Hillary Clinton in Colorado trying to capitalize on chaos in the Republican Party, hitting Donald Trump for what she called his scorched earth policy.
That's all they have left, pure negativity, pessimism, and we're not going to let Donald Trump get away with it, are we?
Now, exclusive NBC News analysis of early voting shows promising news for Clinton in 7 critical battleground states. In 5 states, more Democratic-affiliated voters have cast ballots so far. In Florida and Georgia, more Republicans have voted. Party affiliation is a strong predictor of voter choice, but not a certainty. Today, the Clinton campaign out with this tough new web ad.
This was locker room talk. John McCain, who has probably the dirtiest mouth in all of the Senate.
Here in Colorado, Clinton has a double-digit lead. A convincing victory in battleground states like this could help provide an exclamation mark if she wins on Election Day. But the campaign still facing fallout from the continuing release of hacked campaign emails by WikiLeaks. Messages not verified by NBC News. Today, new emails fueling the narrative that Clinton is not transparent, avoiding the press. Last year, campaign chairman John Podesta writing, "If she thinks we can get to Labor Day without taking press questions, I think it's suicidal." Trump pouncing.
WikiLeaks is amazing. The stuff that's coming out. It shows she's a real liar.
A bitter battle with less than a month until Election Day. Kristen Welker, NBC News, Pueblo, Colorado.
There has been a shocking turn of events in a small plane crash in a Connecticut neighborhood. Federal investigators now say the evidence suggests it was crashed intentionally. So far, senior law enforcement sources say no link to terror has been found. Our Tom Costello has more.
It happened right on Main Street in East Hartford.
Report of an aircraft crash.
A twin-engine private plane engulfed in flames and smoke. On board, a flight instructor who told investigators his student pilot intentionally crashed the plane. Local and federal authorities say the leading theory is suicide, and the two had been arguing when the student said he no longer wanted to fly the plane.
Either one of the two occupants will at any time have the ability to control that plane.
The instructor, Arian Pravala, the owner of the American Flight Academy, was seriously burned, now in fair condition. The student, 28-year-old Faraz Pratik, died. A Jordanian national, he'd earned his single-engine pilot's license in the U.S. a year ago. His name was not on any terror database. The two were on final approach to the airport yesterday when the plane suddenly went down near the Pratt & Whitney aircraft engine plant.
I knew something wasn't right. It was just way too low. And as I looked out my side mirror, I saw him clip the power lines, then hit a pole.
A mother and 3 kids in a minivan escaped unharmed.
It was like a movie scene, like who would have thought that would have happened?
Today, FBI agents were searching both the student pilot's apartment and the Flight Academy offices. But so far, say sources, there is no evidence of a link to terrorism. It's not clear tonight what the argument in the cockpit was about or why the student might have used the flight as a way to end his life. Lester?
Tom Costello, thank you, Tom. There's late word this evening that the embattled CEO of Wells Fargo is stepping down, effective immediately, after a scandal involving millions of unauthorized accounts opened by Wells Fargo employees under pressure to meet sales goals. Compensation analysts estimate John Stumpf will walk away with more than $137 million. Across North Carolina this evening, floodwaters that have already destroyed so many homes after Hurricane Matthew remarkably are now rising and threatening even more communities. NBC's Miguel Almaguer is in the disaster zone tonight.
Tonight in Kinston, the National Guard just arrived.
We ain't gonna be here.
New evacuations underway. This unfolding disaster is playing out more than 100 miles inland. A network of bloated rivers, gushing water that has nowhere to go. Stress dams like this one are crumbling in sections.
A lot of water around here.
The Coast Guard showed us some of the $1,000 loss after today and Hurricane Floyd 17 years ago. The devastation is widespread, but is measured one home at a time.
Look how high the water line is.
The Smith family is living in their driveway. Their picture-perfect home of 21 years is now standing in nearly 21 inches of water.
I know how hard we work to get it to where it is, and I know what it's going to take to get it back, but we'll get it back.
Tonight, where there is so much pain, small moments of joy. Firefighters in Lumberton reach a pack of puppies stranded for days in floodwaters. One small victory in a sea of so much loss.
While the damage in this community is bad, it's only going to get worse. Rivers all across this area won't crest until this weekend. Meantime, Lester, the death toll here in the U.S. from Hurricane Matthew now stands at 39. Lester?
Miguel Almaguer, North Carolina, thank you. The suspect in the ambush killing of 2 police officers in Palm Springs, California, was just charged with murder. And today, police revealed disturbing details about the suspect's massive arsenal and apparent vicious intent. Here's NBC's Steve Patterson.
Home surveillance video capturing the sounds of the gun battle. The officers thought they were responding to a domestic disturbance call.
I would describe this as an ambush.
26-year-old John Felix, a convicted felon, illegally in possession of a firearm, charged this afternoon with the killing of 2 Palm Springs police officers.
He put on a vest so that he would be protected so he could kill police officers. That's the motive.
Say 3-year-old off with tear gas and police robots, Felix surrendered. Vega was a 35-year veteran and father of 8, just 2 months away from retirement. Zarebny recently returned to duty after giving birth to a baby girl.
Every day will be hard.
The shooting comes after targeted police killings in Dallas and Baton Rouge.
There's an element in our society that is bent on
Prosecutors say Felix the death penalty while the community prepares for memorial services next week. Steve Patterson, NBC News, Palm Springs, California.
And still ahead tonight, help wanted. Hundreds of thousands of job openings for the holidays. Who's hiring? And the special incentives they're offering to workers. Also, are your kids consumed by homework even in grade school? We'll take you to one school where homework is a thing of the past.
Your body was made for other things than rheumatoid arthritis. Before you and your rheumatologist move to another treatment, ask if Xeljanz is right for you. Xeljanz is a small pill for adults with moderate to severe RA for whom methotrexate did not work well. Xeljanz can reduce joint pain and swelling in as little as stop for Xeljanz. Higher liver tests and cholesterol levels have happened. Your doctor should perform blood tests before you start and while taking Xeljanz and monitor certain liver tests. Tell your doctor if you are in a region where fungal infections are common and if you have had TB, hepatitis B or C, or are prone to infections. Xeljanz can reduce the symptoms of RA even without methotrexate and is also available in a once-daily pill. Ask about Xeljanz.
Amazing. A natural source of fiber and 5 essential vitamins. Amazing prune juice and amazing prune light from Sunsweet, the feel-good fruit.
I have a cold with this annoying runny nose. I better take something.
Dayquil liquid gels doesn't treat a runny nose.
It doesn't?
Symptoms including
And we covered it February 3rd, 2016. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Did you ever think about where things come from? How they get here? What they're packed in? It's a lot of stuff. And these things add up. That's why we recycle.
It's nice to know that Raymore and Flanagan is proud to be a leading recycler. 17 million pounds of recyclable materials every year, turned from trash into treasure. So in the future, we will all have a more beautiful world.
I believe Americans are expect to spend $656 billion this year, up more than 3% over last year. NBC's Jolene Kent explains why retailers are now in a rush and pulling out all the stops to hire holiday help.
It's not even that's up. Average
news is that the economy is better. The bad news is that it makes it more difficult to find people who are looking for a part-time seasonal position.
Sandy Forsyth chose to work at Cheryl's Cookies for the money and the 40% discount, which will take care of her holiday shopping.
The discounts and perks were very important to me during the holidays.
Attracting workers in this competitive retail. What day to lure in job candidates.
Retail during season is like the Super Bowl for us. With the economy being so strong and frankly the job market being tight, we know it's a really competitive environment for seasonal hires.
Some stores are opening their doors to candidates with no retail work history to fill their slots.
My resume isn't for retail, it's for customer service.
And the opportunities will not end after the holidays. Nearly 90% of employers plan to hire holiday workers full-time in the new year. Jolene Kent, NBC News, Brooklyn, New York.
In just a moment, how would you feel if the person next to you on a plane brought along an uncaged dog, a cat, or even a pig? We're going to tell you comfort.
Prescription and bad breath. Over 400 medications can cause a dry mouth. That's why there's Biotine. Biotine can provide soothing dry mouth relief, and it keeps your mouth refreshed, too. Remember, while your medication is doing you good, a dry mouth isn't. Biotine, for people who suffer from dry mouth symptoms.
Don't let the food you eat during the day haunt you at night. Nexium 24 Hours shuts down your stomach's active acid pumps to stop the burn of frequent heartburn all day and night.
Have we seen them before?
Banish the
Soon learned that one of our ancestors was Eastern European.
This is my ancestor I didn't know about.
Your brain changes as you get older, but Prevagen helps your brain with an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. In clinical trials, Prevagen has been shown to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, the name to remember.
What
Nancy.
On most current national carrier rates. Save money on your phone bill, invest it in your small business. Wouldn't you love more customers?
I would definitely love some new customers.
Sprint will help you add customers and cut your costs.
Switch your business to Sprint and save 50% on most current Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile rates. Don't let a 1% difference cost you twice as much.
Woo!
Listen to the counter.
It's
to find the perfect designer boots at such an amazing price? No, but that's the beauty of a store full of surprises. You never know what you're going to find, but you know you're going to love it.
Authorities in California are investigating the apparent suicide of a Los Angeles police detective who was among those investigating sexual assault allegations. Nick Rose. Mendez had argued to protect the anonymity of Rose's accuser. Police say there is no indication her casework had any connection to her death. New focus tonight on so-called comfort animals, from dogs to pigs, that are becoming a growing part of air travel. At a meeting hosted by the feds today, the airlines argued for limitations on the types of animals allowed to fly. Here's NBC's Kristen Dahlgren.
Turtles, turkeys, even pigs that fly. The debate over emotional support, dogfight. Hundreds of animals fly in airline cabins every year.
Flying has already become where it's not super fun, and so now you add a Great Dane sitting there beside you. It's going to kind of be a little unnerving.
Maggie Espinosa does travel with her dog, but says she pays to have him in a carrier at her feet.
I don't like to see how people are abusing it.
For as little as $69, it seems anyone can fill out a form and get a letter making almost any animal a service animal. Today, a meeting train dogs and miniature horses. But Heidi Pagano says she needs her dog Toby.
Toby helps alleviate anxiety in especially situations where I feel uncomfortable, such as plane rides where I have no control.
Advocates point out emotional support animals may be used for unseen disorders like PTSD. The committee expected to
A typical airline credit card, you only earn double miles when you buy stuff from that airline. Wait, is this where you typically shop? You should be getting double miles on every purchase. Switch to the Capital One Venture Card. With Venture, you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase, everywhere, every day. Not just purchase. Seriously.
What is scary? Pneumococcal pneumonia. It's a serious disease. My doctor said the risk is greater. Now that I'm over 50! Yeah!
Just one dose of the Prevnar 13 vaccine can help protect you from pneumococcal pneumonia that can cause bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. You should not receive Prevnar 13 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. If you have a weakened immune system, you may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most common side effects were pain, redness, and swelling at the injection site, limited arm movement, joint pain, at your.
When it comes to healthcare, seconds can mean the difference between life and death.
For Partners in Health, time is life. We have 18,000 people around the world. The Microsoft Cloud helps our entire staff stay connected and work together in real time.
To collaborate, we do together change how we live.
At Walgreens, you're free. Free to seize the savings on Medicare Part D. From $1 copay plans, save big. Walgreens.
Hannity reveals what happened after Trump dropped his name at the debate, plus Taraji P. Henson's untold family secret. That's tonight on Extra.
Finally, tonight, for every kid who spent hours at work and for the number of learning. Here's Joe Fryer.
You guys have a good day?
Yeah. For families at Cherry Park Elementary in Portland, homework is now history. A new school policy that surprised the Campbell family and their 3 kids.
I was a little nervous at first.
It's an experiment if we're honest, but so far so good.
Principal Kate Barker says teachers here delved into the research and found little evidence homework benefits elementary students.
Our children have to work.
Encouraged to
we do enough work at school, so we shouldn't have to do any at home. The next morning,
and they're still finding time to read without logging the hours. Across the country, more schools are adopting no homework policy. Some students develop
success.
Our teachers and parents at Cherry Park are on board, though on occasion a few kids long for the old days.
I miss it a lot.
A lot of other students who have homework might look at you and think, I'm jealous, I wish I didn't have homework.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
I would say that you're lucky that you still have homework.
No worries. Down the NBC.
Us on this Wednesday, Lester Holt. For all of us at NBC News, thank you for watching and good night.
More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world. Thursday at 6.
This is the last line of defense to stop a speeding train. So why couldn't it stop a Hoboken train crash? The I-Team investigates danger at the end of the line.
More investigations. At 6.
Tony Award winner, star in the seductive tale of sex, revenge, and betrayal. Les Liaisons Dangereuses on Broadway.
Nobody likes a bank that makes them feel like a nobody. Why not try a bank that's not like that? Astoria's been turning New Yorkers into customers for generations. Astoria Bank. The difference is wanting to make a difference.
Together, it has confirmed.
Janet Jackson growing, showing, and giving her first words about the baby she's expecting with her billionaire husband.
I have to rest up. Doctor's orders.
Donald Trump's party of one as he thumbs his nose at the GOP.
Does he still have a chance to win?
AJ's got the Donald's longtime friend,
Sean Hannity. Did you go nuts when you heard that?
His take on the race.
If Hillary Clinton was sitting in this seat right now, what would be your first question?
His thoughts about Alec.
Both Sean Hannity.
And who's in his bullseye.
You know who I'd like to have a fight with on air?
Kris Jenner's secret crisis meeting. Is she pulling the plug on Keeping Up with the Kardashians? Then, Taraji P. Henson opening up her deeply personal new memoir.
I'm actually a little afraid.
Her father's homelessness, her struggle to the top, and her giant empire spoiler. Ooh. La super sexy.